Welcome to African in New York. Today we have Reverend Dr. Charles Butler. Welcome, Dr. Butler.
Thank you. A pleasure being here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so can I just ask you to introduce yourself?
Okay, yeah. As you said, Reverend Dr. Charles Butler. I am the Vice President of the Equitable Development Department with the Harlem Congregations for Community Improvement.
Yeah, can you tell us more about your organization?
Yeah. HCCI, as we're known as, this is our 28th year of existence. We're in the Harlem community, Central Harlem. The program came together by some pastors and lay leaders within the community to address the problem of affordable housing. So they started working with the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development, and were able to get several vacant and abandoned buildings back in the early 80s and started to do renovation and create affordable rental housing. So now we have over 3,000 units from 110th Street up to 154th Street from Fifth Avenue over to Riverside Drive of affordable units. By the year 1988, 89, we looked at our second venture, which was to really start to address the issue of health disparities within the Harlem community, particularly HIV and AIDS, which was running rampant at that time and still in the Harlem community is running out of control.
So now you talked about affordable housing, and then you have assisted like a 500,000 people to get some some housing. So my question is, I mean, how do you run this? Are these run by your organizations, or is just helping people to become homeowners?
Well, it's a combination. We provide a monthly seminar series, homebuyer education seminar series, on a monthly basis. We normally have about 25 to 35 individuals or families who will attend the sessions. During the sessions, we will teach them the basic steps in the home buying process. I kind of taken the home buying process and dissected it and made it pretty much explainable and comprehensible to everyone. A lot of people are really overwhelmed and just afraid at the process because of the nature of it itself, the amount of money you need. So when I explain the process to them in a step-by-step way, they're able to understand how they can proceed to become homeowners. So we provide, the steps involved. We teach them the terminology related to the industry, the different types of mortgage products, FHA, Sony Mae, conventional or VA mortgages, grant programs that they may be entitled to, the different types of properties that's available, co-ops, condos, single family, multifamily homes. And we really teach them the primary tool in this whole process is utilizing their monthly household budget. So I'm a strong believer in having a budget, maintaining the budget, because the bank is going to approve the individual on their gross income, but what in reality they live on is their net income. And the bank doesn't even take into consideration things like food, clothes, utilities, cell phone, cable, which the individuals will have to take into consideration. And then they come up with a much truer picture of what they can actually afford.
In 1986, do you remember Harlem? Vacant lots, abandoned buildings.
Well, Harlem is really not just Harlem, certain sections of Harlem, particularly this area was a blighted area. And it was certainly a depressed area because of the vision of a number of clergy persons and some devoted lay people. They decided that they would try to transform this area, and they did.
Founded in 1986, HCCI is a coalition of more than 90 interfaith congregations that has implemented a portfolio of programs to provide affordable housing and the opportunity to become and remain economically independent.
And growing up in Harlem, I can remember back at times when a loaf of bread was only 15 cents. Rent for a month was like $30. Rent where I was kept going up and going up and going up. I came here and I interviewed and they showed me the apartment. It was like heaven.
Home ownership, where people heretofore who never owned anything in terms of real estate has now been given the opportunity to become a homeowner.
My name is Leela Wells. I was one of the members of one of the home ownership workshops that they offered here in Harlem. I'm actually going to close on a condo 2 blocks from here on Thursday.
We deal not only with housing, but we have a computer program now to help our young people who are trying to cross that educational divide. Even though they are low income, they are not low class.
HCCI is a community-based nonprofit organization. Favorite programs that they do is the youth aging out of foster care.
We want the people to know that HCCI is a vital organization that is deeply concerned about their welfare.
It is said that to whom much is given, much is required. And so we are grateful. We thank God for giving us the opportunity to give back to our community in a very meaningful way.
We've seen how Harlem has changed. You know,
Definitely, yeah.
So and this is partly thanks to your organization that have been doing, you know, a lot of work on these buildings. And, you know, somebody who has a family, you know, and now, you know, Harlem is very expensive. We have the issue of gentrification, for instance. Like a lot of people now can't afford, you know, buying houses in Harlem. And, you know, most of Harlem actually, you know, is changing. You know, at one point, African and African Americans were, you know, occupying Harlem. And this is now actually is changing. So how do you, you know, address the issue of gentrification?
Now it becomes a situation where you have to think differently of how to even purchase a home. Because as you say, the prices have gone up, so maybe one individual or one couple cannot buy a home, but most of brownstones are 3 or 4 family units. And what we're seeing now is the new trend, one of the new trends, families are combining their money and buying. It might be a brother, a sister, an uncle, a cousin, you know, husband and wife, coming together as a group and making that purchase. They're combining the income, and then they're starting to see that they can afford to buy a home in Harlem that way.
Because my understanding is in Harlem right now, you have like a properties, you know, starting maybe at around $1 million.
$1 million, $1.5 million, yeah.
Yes, and then when you're talking about the low income initiative, I mean, how can they afford to get in a 1 million apartment?
1 million, the numbers just won't add up. There's no way. So, you know, right now, most lenders are only going to lend you about 2.5 to 3.5 times your income. So if I'm doing low to moderate income at 60,000, 3 times my income is 180. There's no way a lender, a responsible lender, will lend you 10, 12 times, 20 times your income to qualify for that unit. Now, with those units, they will take projected rental income, normally at 70, 75% of what the projected rental income will be. But it still is not going to be enough to get you into that unit itself. So that's a challenge now for all residents. People are just starting to realize Harlem is part of Manhattan. Manhattan has always been expensive, you know. So now Harlem, which has always been a part of Manhattan, is catching up with that. And so we're paying the price for really sleeping on it and not buying those buildings when we had the opportunities 25, 30 years ago.
Maybe somebody is like, I want to join this, you know, initiative and to come to your housing classes and programs, but they may say maybe it's very expensive. How much do you charge?
Our workshops, normally we do a one-time registration fee of $20, and that's to help offset the cost of the materials that we will hand out during the class. By the end of the 4 sessions, the individuals will actually leave with pretty much like a book on how to buy a home, the steps involved, a number of resources that they'll have for different websites that they can go to, grant programs, people that they can work, other professionals that they can work with on the team, information on predatory lending, information on discrimination in fair housing, information on insurance, the different types of homes and so forth. So it's a one-time registration fee of $20. That's all we charge. If they're doing the course online, it's a little more expensive, but it's even probably less expensive because they don't have to travel, and it's $99. So we help you from the time you get the thought in your mind that you want to buy a house till you actually get the keys in your hand, that you have completed that process. Every step along the way, we know how to help you avoid the hurdles, the pitfalls, so that you can successfully buy.
Thank you very much, Reverend
pleasure.
Dr. Batra.
All right,
It's been
thank
nice
you.
to
Thank you.
talk to you.
All right,
All
very
right,
good.
Bye-bye.